All right. All right. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone for coming to listen to me today. I have a lot to cover in a very small amount of time, so I'm going to get right ahead. Um, so today I'm going to be talking to you guys about social media and some of the problems that it has. No, let's go back here. Today I'm going to be talking to you about social media and some of the problems that it causes for society, and there are a lot of problems. Um, but who am I, and why should you listen to me about this topic? My name is Ty Everett. I have had around 5 years of experience writing code for the modern internet. I have extensive knowledge of networking, software, and I'm going to be getting my degree at Oregon Tech in software engineering and business next year is when I'm going to be going there. So firstly, before I talk about what I've built for my project and social media and whatever, I have to talk about my senior paper. So for my senior paper, I wrote about web development, and according to the web developer page on Oregon CIS, which is a career database, web developers work indoors. So yeah, we make 66 grand a year, and web developers, believe it or not, develop websites. Next, career research, web developers. So educational requirements. We don't need education, really. If you have a PhD in quantum physics and someone wants a website and you can't do it, they're not going to hire you. If you have no high school diploma and you can build stuff, they're going to hire you not only because you can build it, but because it's cheaper for them to pay you than to pay someone who has a degree. So education in this instance could actually be bad, I guess, unless, and this is a big unless, you're working for a large company, because then they can pay to hire the best of the best who have their certifications and all that stuff. Anyways, staying updated is really important. Things change constantly, and you have to evolve to meet the demands of customers, which involves basically learning new stuff all the time. You have to stay relevant, you have to stay up to date, or you will not be profitable. That's what I found from my personal experience. Here's what it's like to be a web developer. Not only do we need to make the things look good that we're building, we need to build all the underlying logic that no one thinks about. We are the reason why you can't send a tweet that's 141 characters, because if you do, we have to check the character limit and make sure that it doesn't happen. We have to do all the logic and all the code and all the programming under the hood behind the scenes. Not only do we have to put the body paint on the car, we have to build the engine and stick it inside and make it run correctly. That's what being a web developer is like. Next, I'd like to get on my project, aka the cool part, why I'm here today. I'd like to talk a lot about social networking and some of the problems that social networks have. So we have distraction, privacy, transparency, and centralization. Those are 4 key points I'd like to cover. First, distraction. In the 21st century, we check our phones more than 100 times a day. This says almost, but more than 100 times a day now. It's increasing. And with every passing year, we're becoming more and more addicted to our devices, which is a big problem. Studies show that increased exposure and increased screen time can create depression and anxiety among younger people. And that's really not good, because we're getting more and more addicted to these phones, and we can't have mass, cases, pandemics of people with these conditions caused by these devices. It is a really big problem. So I think what we need in order to solve this, what if we had a social network that promoted actual socializing, getting off the phone and talking to people in real life, getting off the couch and meeting up with someone? What if we had a network that could check people's locations and say, hey, your friend is nearby, why don't you go meet up with them? Instead of, this person is active on Facebook Messenger right now. Next, I'd like to talk about privacy. Users are becoming increasingly unaware of how companies and governments are using their information, which is a big problem. The amount of publicly available information about any single person is increasing exponentially every year, meaning that A year from now, I will be able to find out more information from searching your name up on Google than I would right now, and that is not going to change unless we really put the brakes on this. This is eroding people's privacy on a scale we have never seen before, and it is a major problem. With the technology, the technology to protect our information really does exist. It's called public key cryptography, and it's been around since the 70s. But the thing is, companies don't utilize it because it's not profitable. They would rather share your data with whoever could pay them the most money for it, and use it for advertising purposes, and do all of this other nonsense with it, rather than putting the users in control. Companies will always put profit before their users, meaning that they will always mine data when it's profitable. What we need to do is change the incentive model. What we need to do is we need to make it so that it's more profitable to serve your users than it is to essentially sell their data. What we need to do is stop selling eyeballs to advertisers and start selling good content to users. Element Communications utilizes these advanced technologies, and we are building it into the core of all of our infrastructure. We are trying to protect, and we are protecting, all user information. What this means is that if you send a message to someone, we don't know who you're sending it to, and we don't know what you're saying. That's right, we don't even know who you're talking to. Because of ring signatures, we can make it impossible for the founders of, for the operators of the network to know who the message is even coming from when it gets entered into our database. That's really cool, and it's really new technology, and it's something that we're really proud of. Next, I'd like to talk about transparency, because it's, again, a really big problem. Can you easily get a report of exactly what information each company you share your data with has on you, and how they're sharing that information, who they're sharing it with, who they're selling it to, and how they're using it to sell you products that you don't even want, for example? Did you know that Netflix keeps track of every show and every movie you've ever watched, and they use that for advertising purposes? They make money, yes, from the $8 a month you pay them, but they make even more from the amount that they essentially mine your information. They can tell what your interests are based on what you watch, and they can sell that to advertising firms who can then send you advertisements based on your interests. That's how they make money. That's the business model there. By default, Google keeps a copy of all of your search history, and they can use that. I'm not saying that they do, but they probably do. It's alleged that they do. Use that for advertising purposes. And in 2017, it was decided that internet service providers like Charter, CenturyLink, Verizon can sell user browsing history. That means that if you go visit a wedding, for example, a wedding gown shopping website, then they could send you advertisements in the mail about wedding gowns just because they know you're looking. That's the type of targeted advertising which we need to avoid, and which we need to recognize as a major problem. What if your data was encrypted before it even left your device? What if you could control your information so that only people you expressly authorize could access your data? That's where I'm going with this. That's what I'm building. Also, centralization. All of your data is stored in centralized data centers. What that means is that if one of them goes down, what if Facebook went down? This creates a single point of failure. If Facebook went down, you would not be able to contact all of your friends who are on Facebook. And that's really a problem that we don't realize yet because it hasn't really happened for more than 30 seconds at a time. But if it did, there would be mass chaos, because people, I don't know, no one knows what would happen, but I would expect that the reaction would be pretty unpredictable, to say the least. Another issue, what if Snapchat was hacked? So not only would you not be able to contact all your people on Snapchat, but all the information that they imply is deleted is still there. That means that all those photos and texts that disappear, they could get released and publicized. That would be a major problem. Wouldn't it be better if we had a decentralized network which couldn't be shut down, that was censorship resistant, that was distributed across the world, and that encrypted all of our users, that encrypted all of our communications so that no one could take it down, so that no one could sell our data, and so that no one no one could target us in advertising. That's what I'm trying to build here. That's where I'm going. Element Communications provides, or it combines security with privacy, with productivity to create empowerment for users. We have the most advanced security. We have privacy enabling features so that we don't even know who you're friends with or what you're saying to them. And we incorporate productivity features to keep people less distracted. We're building smart algorithms which are going to allow people to communicate off screen in the real world, based on location and based on stuff, and based on the location of the two users and whether they're friends and things like that, which will introduce new people who are interested in the same stuff. But we're doing all of this without selling user data. We're doing all of this in a distributed way, which can't be taken down, which can't be censored, and which can't be tracked. You can feel confident that your information is secure, safe, and private. All of these things combine to empower the user over their content. What if you could earn money by posting content on the internet? What if every time someone read an article and they liked it, they could tip you a couple cents? This is going to flip the incentives model on its head, so that corporations are no longer incentivized to sell user data, but rather to serve their users, to allow them to profit along with their users. This is the system that I'm building here. Element Communications provides the foundation for these ideas, and I am working tirelessly to implement them into a functioning system which can be used by billions of people across the world. That's where I'm going, and that's what I'm doing to solve the problems that we face with social media every day. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.